turnovers, which have been taboo for them in the past. However, it's the future for the Who's, playing a completely different style than when they've been here in the past few years.
We are underway as Duke wins the opening tip, coming in at 26-2. Virginia 25-3, an incredible turnaround for Ryan Odom and Virginia from a season ago. Duke trying to strike right away. Dame Sarr along the baseline, but he lost it. And now a loose ball, and it'll be scooped up by Malik Thomas. Tries to split the defense, getting in the lane. And here's Testerritter, first one on the way, and that'll rim out. And a nice save there on the baseline by Thomas.
An offensive rebound for Virginia. They're one of the best in the country. Lead the ACC 13.8 per game and get one on the first possession.
As you mentioned, they can score, and they like to have an up-tempo kind of a game. Shot clock is down to 3. Another fight for the rebound, and Sarr comes away with that for the Blue Devils.
But you see what it's going to take for Duke to keep Virginia off the offensive glass.
Duke has won 30 consecutive home games coming into play today. Foster outside the 3. He will drive it into the paint. Can't get it to go. Tipped out. Duke will keep it.
But I love the physicality to start this game on both ends of the floor. The officials are going to allow these two teams to play. Not going to call the tic-tac fouls. Great job by Grunloh staying vertical on that possession.
Cavaliers very good defensively. There was a while during the season the offense was ahead of their defense. Defense certainly caught up. They can really block shots. They're as good as anybody in the country.
OB, the defense may have surpassed the offense, which has been supreme for the Cavaliers all year, as Isaiah Evans' offense continues to stay hot, knocking down his first three-point attempt of the game.
The Slim Reaper. He's 6'6" sophomore out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. What a difference he has made in Duke's success this year. A true offensive weapon as well. The handoff for Lewis, who's dangerous beyond that three-point line, as he makes about 40%. Shot clock again a factor, down to 4. DeRitter up against Gungba, swings to his left, not there.
Once again, physicality in the post. Nice job by Gungba staying vertical and staying in defensive position so that he doesn't get a foul with the physical DeRitter.
DeRitter scrapping for it. Sarr comes away with it, going for the slam, but no. Thomas on the run. Here come the Cavaliers. And DeRitter will clean that up.
But another offensive rebound, and that's the way Virginia wants to play. They do not want to be methodical. Talking with Griff Aldridge, their associate head coach, earlier today, he wants to make sure they're playing fast. Don't let Duke's tempo dictate the game.
Ryan Odom, first season as the Virginia head coach. He's certainly in the running for ACC Coach of the Year. So is his opponent today, John Shire.
I think we have 2 of the 3 top candidates, OB, in this game. If you include Jay Lucas, former Duke assistant, now the head coach at Miami, I believe that is the top tier of the coaches this season in ACC play.
Yeah, all 3 deserve it. Knocked down by Evans, and off to a quick start.
Now that is not the defense that's caught up for Virginia. Giving up 2 wide open looks to one of the best shooters in the conference is not going to be pleasing to Coach Ryan Odom.
DeRitter left open from three-point land, buries it.
And that's the challenge, because when you find Boozer in the painted area where he's often guarding bigger players and getting in defensive rebounding position, DeRitter can knock down the 3. He's going to have to be out to space the floor.
6'9", the freshman from Belgium. A freshman, but he's 23 years old.
We call him a first year, OB. Yes. That's the Virginia terminology.
That's
another
right.
turnover.
Thomas comes away. Lewis wants to drive and kick. He's got Hall open. He had a good look. Does not do a lot of scoring, though.
But even though that's not a conventional fast break, that's the way Ryan Odom wants to play. Virginia averages 28 three-point field goal attempts per game. Pushing the basketball and finding those open 3 in transition is their style of play.
Inside for Boozer, going in strong. It kicks out for Foster. Caleb Foster held up and fouled on the play. 12:53 to go, first half. 11 already for Evans. All bounces in. Duke converges defensively. Brown with the steal. Boozer drives. The tip is up. That's no good.
But look who's there, OB. Cameron Boozer.
We mentioned DeRitter out because of a couple of fouls. And Boozer may have an opportunity here, a window to really go to work down low. Thomas will launch, and too strong. Gungba knocking away the rebound.
Virginia 1 of 6, now 1 of 7 from beyond the three-point arc, and that's such a staple for their program offensively. They're going to have to find a way to knock some of those down here to try to knock off the #1 team in the country.
Molly had a chance to listen in on the huddle.
Yeah, that's right. Duke head coach John Shire started that last time out by saying the main thing is their physicality and their hands on defense. And he told his team to battle it with ball movement and staying composed, saying we want to be methodical. Don't let their defense speed us up.
That's a great word, methodical, Molly, because that's what Griff Aldridge talked to us about. And he simply said that Virginia cannot be methodical, even though they know that Duke will be. So great job, Molly. And this is my first time working with Molly. I'm already impressed with so much of her work. Been watching you guys over the last few weeks.
Join the cast of thousands who will tell you that, believe me. On the run out, Evans, poked away by Lewis. He flips it over the shoulder. And now Caden Boozer will set it up. His brother back in there, launches, and can't hit the long one. Both sides right now chilly.
But that favors the Blue Devils, especially in this building. Their defense has absolutely shown up against an elite offensive team.
Lewis penetrates and gave it away. Duke forcing the turnover. Duke 36-2 in their last 38 ACC games. Trying to secure at least a share of the ACC championship for the 22nd time in their storied history. And another one by Evans. He is rocking and rolling to the tune of 14 points.
14 points, OB, and over the last 2 seasons, the Blue Devils are 24-0 as Grunloh's able to get the lob. The Blue Devils are 24-0 when Isaiah Evans makes 3 or more three-point field goals. He's already on 4 this afternoon.
Meanwhile, that was the first field goal in over 7 minutes for Virginia. Caden Boozer and his brother work so well together.
Now with DeRitter on the bench, look at the difference in Boozer when he goes to the block. Oh, these are long, Molly. They continue to keep pushing. But one of the areas that Virginia loves to be able to push is with their 94-foot pressure. But they haven't played against a 6'9", 250-pound guy that can run the point. Natives on the Duke team, and Duke has kind of had a way of finding a number of guys, little, hidden gems in the state of Virginia. A guy by the name of Grant Hill is another one of them. Turned out to be a decent player.
He was okay.
Just okay.
Boozer fouled on the play. Trying to fashion a giant comeback.
Well, Obi, believe it or not, giant comebacks for the Hoos have happened in this building before. Something we may look at later.
We just might peek in.
That's what we call a tease in the TV business, my friends.
It will all depend what the score is at the time we elect to do that. Foster on the drive, leans in, can't finish it.
How about Gungba, though, sticking with it right there, coming up with the offensive rebound and forcing Thomas to foul him.
Let's get on to Molly McGrath for more on Ryan Odom and Virginia.
Yeah, that's right, Obi. I talked to Ryan Odom at the half, and he told me we are not the more disciplined team right now, and he focused on better defending Cam Boozer, who has 12 free throw attempts, saying we've got to get doubles to Cam Boozer quicker or he's going to continue to draw fouls. And he said offensively, we're just playing jittery and disjointed. We need to play faster on that end to regain control.
He gets hit for a foul there on a hook.
But, Obi, this shows that DeRitter is capable of competing with Boozer in the painted area. Look at DeRitter not moving, standing his ground, forcing Boozer to give him the chicken wing and pick up that offensive foul.
DeRitter, a veteran of Spain's Liga ACB Pro League. He's 23 years old, which makes him about 5 years older than Cam Boozer. Underway here in the second half, a minute in, 41-26. A foul on Sarr will be his second.
A bit of an advantage, and that's one of the things that Virginia's guards, Dallin Hall not as equipped as is Chance Mallory of blowing past Dame Sarr, but if Sarr's going to pressure you on the perimeter, For a point guard, at some point, you just got to go make a play. You can't allow a guy to make you go east-west. You got to go north-south.
All driving that baseline, takes a shove. Molly, you've got more on DeRidder.
Yeah, you mentioned he's a freshman in eligibility, but his experience playing overseas makes him a veteran. And when we asked him about it, he laughed and told us, it is so funny and weird being a 23-year-old freshman, adding, I don't know why they call me that. But he said before the season, the school asked him if he wanted to live in the freshman dorms, and he said that's where he drew the line. He lives in his own apartment and truly views himself as a veteran leader with professional experience.
I'm not sleeping in a dorm. I'm 23 years old. I used to play professionally.
Well, Molly, you haven't had an opportunity, I don't believe, to get to the University of Virginia yet. However, at UVA, we call freshmen first years. And so with that, we'll just call DeRidder a first year because with only 2 years of eligibility, it's hard to call him a freshman.
I believe that was Mr. Jefferson's idea, switched in by Boozer.
It was, and Boozer now with his first field goal of the game is able to splash it home from three. It hasn't worked for him on the inside getting a bucket, but it's worked for him getting to the free throw line. Now he goes to the other line for 3 points.
DeRidder takes a tumble.
Building the lead now up to 18. It's an important time for Virginia to find a way to respond because the runs from the Blue Devils in the second half can come off.
DeRidder open from three. Got it.
There's the answer. Duke's power forward knocks down a three. Virginia power forward knocks down a three. Now Virginia's going to have to find a way to get some stops. They've been a great defensive team since ACC action started, but now they're going to have to flex that here on the opponent's floor.
Amenya to Foster. DeRidder picks him up. Foster to the paint, keeps on trucking and lays it in.
Just great patience by Caleb Foster there, going up against the bigger DeRidder, but knowing that he's playing with those two fouls, you want to continue to attack that guy.
Lewis slipped a little bit. DeRidder another touch on Cam Boozer. To his right, no. And Boozer with the rebound.
It's a heavyweight matchup between those two guys, OB.
Been fun. Wasn't too fun for Cam when he got poked in the eye.
No, that part wasn't fun. We've both been there before.
I bet you have.
We're talking about me and you.
Can't remember anyone leaning down to poke me in the eye.
Oh!
7 to get off a shot. Boozer launches, around and out it goes. On a run. All on the open floor will swish it in.
That's Virginia basketball, OB. Play fast, find those threes in transition. We saw it very few times in the first half. But now Dallin Hall, the true leader of this Virginia team, stepping up and making a big three on the break.
Evans open. Can't nail this one. And a whistle and a foul in the lane. 14-1 in the conference. They are 4 points away from an undefeated season. That's how good they have been. And really putting the hammer down on Virginia and showing you the class of the league. A really improved ACC. It's been a really fun season. You're going to have 8 teams probably at least going to the NCAA tournament.
And OB, we were here 2 weeks ago when Clemson came in with only, I believe 2 ACC losses. And we were talking about Clemson, Virginia, and of course Duke, the best teams in the ACC. And we saw what the Blue Devils did to the Tigers that evening. And they're doing the exact same thing to the Wild.
Jay Lucas doing a great job in his first year there in Miami.
It really is. And I believe a finalist for ACC Coach of the Year as well as Young was able to get to his spot and finish over the shot blocker in Grunloh. But when it's all said and done, OB, if this holds, I believe that Ryan Odom is absolutely a candidate for ACC Coach of the Year, as is Jay Lucas. But I honestly believe that last season, John Shire was penalized because he's the head coach at Duke. And as voters, we can't continue to do that. I voted for John Shire last year, and right now I would vote for him again this year. It is harder to coach talent than it is to just get guys to go out and play hard. He's coaching talent and having them play hard, and most importantly, having them play elite defense.
Well, of
That's
course, everyone
material.
supposes it's Duke, so they're supposed to go to the Final Four. They're supposed to go to the national championship. I think you're right about that. I was leaning more Odom's way because it's been such a dramatic reversal of fortune for Virginia, but your argument on John Shire, I think, seals it.
But that's no slight to Pat Kelsey last season. There's no slight to Ryan Odom or Jay Lucas. But when you consider that the winningest basketball program over the last 2 seasons has been here in Durham, and the guy leading the way doesn't get the votes because he's at Duke.
Well, I think Coach K went through a lot of the same thing.
Agreed. I voted for him his last year, 2022.
That's right. On the swing, Hall's open and knocks it down, a 3. And I get 12 minutes to go, 55-37 Duke. Caden Boozer on the attack, spins it up there and draws the foul.
20. However, Virginia's going to have to find a way to make threes and get some stops. The biggest issue for the Hoos in this game is keeping Duke off the free throw line. They have not been able to do that, and the Blue Devils have taken advantage of their opportunity.
Rebound kicked out, and Virginia will keep it. And tonight, before the Lakers and Warriors at 8:30 Eastern on ABC, Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq tip off the coverage at 8. And they'll be back at 11 Eastern to break it all down and anything else that is big inside the association.
The greatest addition to the NBA as far as ESPN's coverage this season, maybe ever, having Inside the NBA on our air.
Shot clock to 7. DeRitter wants to shoot it, spinning to his right, lays it in.
And that's DeRitter's game. He wants to back players down. Oftentimes he's getting double teams, but Duke, with a 20-point lead, doesn't want to double and open up opportunities for Virginia on the perimeter, so they'll allow DeRitter to play one-on-one because they don't feel like twos will kill them.
Brown looking in. Zips the pass for Harris. He can't connect. He hit a couple of threes in the first half, though. Duke building a lead at 15 at halftime. Here's Thomas. Just has not been able to get going today, and he looks very frustrated.
Thomas had a great streak. Has 4 20-point games in ACC action. But a lot of that was happening before Jakari White came back from injury, or Jakari was just getting back. Now that he's splitting that time at the 2-guard spot hasn't been as productive.
Grunloh, a little hook in the lane to make it 57-41. Caden Boozer to his brother. Here's Sarr. Sarr will lift. Lewis ran right into a 3, couldn't connect. Ten minutes to go as we check in with Molly McGrath.
Well, OB, Duke is not satisfied with their #1 ranking. Players and head coach John Shire constantly emphasizing improvement, especially in this crucial stretch before March. And improvement was the theme of Duke's last time out. Shire challenging his team to help more on defense, talked about making every catch, every movement difficult for Virginia's playmakers, especially Tess DeRitter. They do not want to allow any momentum here, guys.
And Molly, one of the areas where we'll maybe asking a lot of these coaches, but I think that's something that would be an even better, viewing and seeing it in February in comparison to November.
Foster for Evans. Can't hit this time. He's had an outstanding afternoon here at Cameron Indoor. This the biggest game of the season in the ACC. Virginia number 11, Duke number 1. 1 game separating the two in the conference standings. Duke ahead by a game, and the opportunity today to lock up at least a share of the ACC championship for the Blue Devils. And they look like they're very hungry to do that. Cam Boozer, the National Player of the Year candidate. Likely the front runner, leaning inside for a deuce.
But remember, Tess DeRitter on the bench in foul trouble. That trap is different when DeRitter's not a part of it. Boozer's able to split the trap, with Devin Tillis not being able to stand up to his level of physicality.
Cambuza with 16. This is a long one from Lewis, but no. Rebound tipped and controlled by Tillis. He can't return it. And Sarr beating everyone to the other end to slam it down. On a lightning quick strike for the Duke Blue Devils. And back on top by 20.
But a missed opportunity by Tillis, point blank at the rim, ends up being a run out for the Blue Devils.
Foster thought about it. Drives it, left it short. 7.5 minutes to go at Cameron. Duke with 9 victories over top 25 opponents this season. They have taken on all comers.
Sight, because no one's coming into this building and beating the Blue Devils. Now I say that they do still have a big matchup at the end of the regular season with the North Carolina Tar Heels, the rival. Will be interesting to see that as well. But can anyone compete with the Blue Devils in this building, especially after what we're seeing what they're doing to the second best team in the ACC?
North Carolina with that win just in front of the buzzer at their place over Duke. Gungba trying to negotiate inside, and that'll go the other way. 70-45. Of course, Caleb Wilson was healthy in that one and had a terrific game for the Tar Heels. So we have 3:53 to go. All Duke today. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. DeRitter to his left, and he's going to draw a drive away with a Porsche. In a Porsche, with a Porsche, on top of a Porsche. Well, you'll have the Porsche. You can do whatever you want with it.
I was waiting for you to do it in Dickie V's voice, though.
Oh, I don't think I can. I don't think I can do that. How could I possibly do that? He's my dear buddy.
We've been fortunate to be able to spend the last few weekends with Dickie V as the Blue Devils continue to pour it on. Isaiah Evans to Malik Brown up top. But so when we get a chance to hear Dickie V talk about the raffle, talk about the Porsche, I was waiting to hear, OB's version of that. You did a pretty good job.
Well, we've been around him for a long, long time and love working with him. And he's got a heart the size of Utah. With all the money he has raised for pediatric cancer. Spin move again inside DeRitter. He's been frustrated here in the second half. 72-47 Duke. And showing they are the class of the ACC. Definitively. Foster with the penetration. Tried to curl the pass around to Brown and never got there. Hall from three-point land around and out.
Obi, Virginia will become just the next victim to come into this building. Averaging 82 points per game, and right now sitting on 47. This is what Duke has done to opponents coming into this building all season long, as Malik Brown lines up the three and is able to knock it down. That's the type of afternoon that it's been for the Blue Devils here today. Only the third three-point field goal made in ACC action for Malik Brown.